This is your wary speech in the style of Elon Musk. Look around. The world we live in is changing at a velocity most people can't comprehend. Some are asleep at the wheel, lulled into comfort, unaware of what's coming. But not you. You're here because something inside you refuses to be passive. Something inside you knows this isn't just another day. This isn't just another phase of your life. This is your wary. What does that mean? It means the moment you're in right now is not ordinary. It means you're in the thick of something unprecedented, something delicate, something volatile. You're in the middle of a time where innovation can make you limitless or bury you beneath those who dared more. You're standing on the edge of a future that's not promised, not to you, not to anyone, and your ability to stay alert, to question everything, to be wary, that might be your only advantage. People talk about risk like it's something external. Like it's out there in the markets, in the politics, in the economy, but the real risk is you forgetting what you're made of. The real risk is you falling asleep while everything accelerates around you. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need validation. What you need is awareness, the kind that burns through the fog, that sees the cracks forming before the collapse, that recognizes noise for what it is. This is not about fear. Fear is reactive. Worry is proactive. Worry is calculated. Worry is strategic. Worry doesn't waste energy on panic. It engineers solutions. It listens. It adapts. It watches systems fail and builds new ones quietly in the shadows. Right now, there are people engineering the next age. They're not waiting for someone to hand them blueprints. They're drawing their own. They're failing fast and adjusting faster. They don't care about applause. They care about momentum, and they know. If you're not obsessed with the trajectory, you're irrelevant. Ask yourself, what's in your control? What lever can you pull right now that you're not pulling? What opportunity are you ignoring because it doesn't look like what you expected? This is not a time to chase comfort. Comfort is the lullaby of average. Comfort is the illusion that stops revolutions. This is a time to be sharp, to be uncomfortable, to be precise. When things get unstable, most people retreat. But the few, the very few, lean in. They see the cracks as chances to rebuild from the foundation up. They don't wait for certainty, they build it. The ones who change the world aren't the loudest. They're the most obsessed with the details. They build at 2 a.m. when the world is quiet. They rewire systems brick by brick while others debate. They don't need a stage, they need a plan. They don't chase trends, they set them. Being wary doesn't mean you move slower. It means you move smarter. It means you move with intent. It means every step you take has weight. And when the storm hits, and it will, you're not the one scrambling. You're the one prepared. You're the one everyone looks to. You're the one already 10 steps ahead because you saw it coming and you built for it. This is not a soft era. This is not a forgiving environment. The gap between those who adapt and those who wait is widening by the second. You can't fake effort here. You can't pretend to be serious. The future doesn't care about your ego. It only rewards execution. So forget applause. Forget safety. Forget looking over your shoulder for permission. Be wary. Be bold in your clarity. Be relentless in your focus. Be ruthless with your time, and most importantly, build. Build like it all depends on you, because it just might. This is your wary. Stay alert in a rapidly changing world. Awareness is your competitive edge. The landscape is shifting faster than most people can process. Technology is evolving at an exponential rate. Industries are collapsing and reforming in real time. And the information stream is so dense that the line between signal and noise has blurred. Most people are running old software in their minds, using outdated models to navigate a reality that no longer exists. They think they're adapting, but they're only reacting. The real advantage isn't in reacting quickly. It's in anticipating, in seeing the patterns before they harden into trends, in noticing the subtle signs of what's coming next. That requires a different level of awareness. That requires being wide awake in a world that seduces you to stay asleep. The competitive edge no longer comes from brute force or talent alone. It comes from being able to process complexity without being overwhelmed. It comes from being able to filter distractions and dial into what actually matters. It comes from resisting the easy dopamine of scrolling and instead directing your attention like a laser on what is essential. Attention is the currency now, not just the attention you get, but the attention you keep for yourself. What you focus on is what you build, and what most people are building is a habit of distraction, of confusion, of being busy without direction. The ones who win are those who see through the noise and lock onto the truth underneath it. Staying alert doesn't mean being paranoid. It means being aware of all variables without being controlled by any. It means seeing things for what they are, not what you wish they were. It means paying attention to the micro shifts in the market, in culture, in technology, in human behavior. It means noticing the lag between perception and reality and positioning yourself in that space. The future doesn't arrive in headlines, it arrives in whispers, in the subtle change in tone, in the shift in language, in the tools people start to use quietly before they go mainstream. If you're not tuned in, you'll miss it. And if you miss it, you're already behind. Awareness gives you time. Time gives you leverage. Leverage gives you impact. This is how it stacks. While others are caught in loops of distraction and complacency, the aware are scanning, listening, processing, connecting dots. They're reading between the lines. They're not waiting for confirmation. They're making moves based on intuition, sharpened by data and experience. And because they're early, they move before the herd. They don't need consensus. They move on conviction built from awareness. The world rewards clarity. The world punishes blindness. Most people operate in fog because it's comfortable. Certainty is a myth they chase from outside sources. But those who are truly alert know that clarity is built from within. It's earned through constant observation, ruthless prioritization, and a commitment to understanding how the world actually works. They aren't shaken by chaos because they've already imagined it. They've run the simulations, they've thought through the second-order effects. While others are surprised, they're already adapting. While others are reacting, they're executing. Staying alert is not a state, it's a discipline. It's the discipline of paying attention when you could check out. It's the discipline of asking questions when others accept easy answers. It's the discipline of analyzing your environment like it's a system, identifying leverage points, bottlenecks, threats, and opportunities. It's about being mentally agile, emotionally calm, and operationally aggressive when necessary. You don't wait for the storm to hit. You build the ark while the sun is shining. That's what awareness allows you to do. It puts you ahead of time. It gives you the advantage of preparation in a world that's addicted to reaction. You have to train yourself to observe at a higher level. That means noticing not just what people say, but what they don't say. It means watching behavior over words. It means tracking not just the trends, but who's behind them, what incentives are driving them, and where they're likely to go next. It means understanding systems, not just snapshots. It means being intellectually curious and emotionally detached enough to learn from anything and anyone. You are no longer just a consumer of information. You become a sensor for it. You sense momentum, you sense movement, you sense danger before others feel it, and you act accordingly. In this kind of world, apathy is expensive, comfort is a trap, sleepwalking through the day is a death sentence to your potential. The longer you drift, the harder it becomes to recalibrate. The faster you're moving in the wrong direction, the more painful the correction will be. Staying alert gives you the power to pivot early, to realign without the crash, to correct the course before the damage spreads. That's the power of awareness. It's not just about observation, it's about transformation. You begin to operate from first principles. You question everything. You don't build on assumptions. You break things down to their fundamental truths and build back up from there. That's how you stop copying and start innovating. That's how you move from mimicry to mastery. While others are running scripts, you're writing them. While others are outsourcing their thinking, you're doing the work. You're not looking for shortcuts, you're building systems that make speed sustainable. And you're doing it because you see the urgency, you see the fragility, you see the opportunity hidden inside the chaos. You stay awake because you understand what's at stake. This is not the time to be passive. This is not the time to assume someone else will figure it out for you. This is not the time to scroll, to wait, to distract yourself from the truth you already feel. The world isn't slowing down. The pressure isn't easing up. If anything, it's accelerating, and in that acceleration is your moment, not to panic, but to lock in, to go silent and observe, to zoom out and then zoom in with surgical focus, to know that every move you make is either aligned with your future or a step away from it. That's what awareness gives you. It gives you the feedback loop in real time. It gives you the clarity to cut through the noise. It gives you the advantage that no one can take from you because it lives inside your mind, your decisions, your ability to perceive reality and act on it faster than anyone else around you. Being wary is not fear, it's strategic, calculated, and proactive. Fear paralyzes, but being wary mobilizes. Fear makes you shrink, it clouds your thinking, it rushes your decision making in the wrong direction. Being wary, on the other hand, sharpens your focus. It's not about panicking, it's about preparing. It's not about avoiding risk, it's about understanding it deeply, mapping it out, dissecting it, and positioning yourself to either neutralize it or leverage it. It's the difference between being hunted and being the one who already knows the terrain better than anyone else. Being wary puts you in a place where you don't get blindsided because you've already gamed out the worst case scenario and adjusted your systems accordingly. Fear reacts to pressure. Wary minds study the pressure, question its source, assess its weight, and then decide what to do about it. Wary people don't crumble under uncertainty, they build clarity within it. They don't need absolute answers because they trust their ability to navigate ambiguity with a framework. That's what makes them lethal in environments where others hesitate. Fear waits for permission. Wary acts on pattern recognition, on probability, on an obsession with being prepared. It doesn't fold when variables shift. It adapts in real time because it's not married to ego, it's married to outcomes. When you're strategic, your emotions don't drive the machine. Logic does, analysis does, risk tolerance does. You become surgical with your time, your focus, your resources. You stop wasting effort on opinions, on distractions, on what-ifs that don't matter. You optimize your exposure to upside and build insulation against downside. You make decisions from a place of strength, not desperation, and that comes from being wary. That comes from understanding that uncertainty isn't the enemy, blindness is. You're not looking to eliminate risk entirely. You're looking to build within it, knowing full well that progress always lives inside the chaos. Calculated means measured. It means deliberate. It means you're not jumping at every shiny object or every fear-driven impulse. You move when it makes sense and not a moment before. But when you do move, you move hard. You move with intent. You move with the confidence that comes from having done the mental work ahead of time. Being calculated means stacking data, experience, instinct, and intelligence into a single point of execution. You're not interested in random motion. You're interested in compound leverage. You want every step to build momentum, to open more doors, to reinforce the architecture of your strategy. That's what separates the calculated from the chaotic. You don't chase, you design. You don't guess, you simulate. You don't react, you predict, prepare. And position proactive means you don't wait for things to go wrong. You assume at some point something will, and you've already got version 2, 3, and 4 mapped out in your head. You're not building for if something breaks, you're building for when. You're not naive. You understand that setbacks aren't interruptions. They're part of the blueprint, so you don't fear failure. You factor it in, and because you've planned for it, you recover faster than anyone else. You don't stop. You reallocate, you evolve, you move forward with data that your competition hasn't even gathered yet. Being proactive also means you're not following the current, you're watching it, studying it, and sometimes choosing to swim against it. Because you understand that the crowd is often late, the market is often irrational, the trends are often overhyped. You're not interested in following momentum blindly. You want to know where it's going before it gets there. You don't copy, you anticipate. You don't rely on headlines. You rely on information filtered through a lens of strategy and skepticism. You question everything, and because of that, your moves carry more weight. They come from intention, not reaction. To be wary is to move with edge. You're not ruled by emotion, but you're not emotionless either. You feel, but you don't let feelings distort the mission. You stay grounded in truth. You learn fast, you think in systems, you play long games with short-term precision. You don't need approval, you need alignment. You're not looking for comfort, you're looking for control over what you can control, and acceptance of what you can't. You're prepared for chaos, but not surprised by it. You're mentally fortified. You've rehearsed scenarios most people don't want to think about, and instead of being crushed by that, you're empowered by it. Because now you know you won't crack when the pressure hits. Most people confuse being cautious with being fearful. But true caution is an element of mastery. It's not about playing small, it's about playing smart. It's about moving only when the terrain is mapped, when the timing is aligned, when the variables are visible enough to act decisively. Caution, when combined with clarity, creates force, not hesitation. Force, because when you do act, you're already ahead. You're faster than the average player, not because you rush, but because you've rehearsed every angle. That's what being wary gives you, not speed, but effective speed. Not impulse, but tactical aggression. The world doesn't reward panic. It doesn't reward scattered thinking. It rewards results, and results come from intention executed with accuracy under pressure. Being wary is the foundation that keeps you grounded when the game changes mid-play. It's the operating system that lets you update in real time without crashing. It's the baseline from which you outlast, outthink, and out-execute. You're not here to be lucky. You're here to build leverage through intelligence. You're here to break the illusion that chaos is random, when in fact, chaos follows structure. If you know where to look, fear makes you avoid the hard truths. Worry forces you to confront them, to mine them for insight, and to build a solution while others deny the problem even exists. Fear consumes energy without creating motion. Worry converts energy into movement, into clarity, into power. Fear is passive, worry is active. Fear watches, worry builds. Fear waits, worry initiates. Fear obeys emotion. Worry obeys logic, fear is noise. Worry is signal. You build this mindset over time, through discipline, through exposure to stress, through failure and adaptation, through analyzing your mistakes with brutal honesty, through stripping away the need for guarantees, through learning how to hold the weight of uncertainty without buckling, through developing a reflex of awareness that keeps you sharp while others slip, through accepting that no one is coming to save you and realizing that's your greatest advantage, through obsessively upgrading your thinking while the world waits for someone else to fix it, through engineering yourself into someone who doesn't need stability to function, someone who creates stability in their own internal code. Regardless of what's happening externally, this isn't mindset for the masses. It's a system of operation for those who choose to win on purpose. It's for those who want to shape the terrain, not just survive it. It's not emotional hype, it's strategic dominance. It's a lens, a framework, a way of decoding risk, uncertainty, and opportunity with unshakable clarity. It's the software upgrade for those who refuse to be spectators in a world that's constantly shifting under their feet. It's what lets you walk into the unknown with your eyes open, not because you know what's coming, but because you know you are ready for whatever it turns into. Comfort kills progress. Lean into discomfort to innovate and lead. The human brain is wired to seek stability, to move toward what is familiar, predictable, and safe. But that very instinct, which once served as a survival mechanism, now serves as a barrier. Comfort creates stagnation. It dulls your edge. It convinces you that maintenance is enough, that preservation is more valuable than exploration. But the truth is, every time you choose comfort over challenge, you trade long-term evolution for short-term ease. And in a world accelerating with no brakes, the cost of that trade compounds fast. The comfort zone is not just a pause, it's a trap disguised as relief. It's the space where your potential is slowly suffocated under the weight of routine. Discomfort is where the signal lies. When you're uncomfortable, you're alive. You're on the edge of your ability, forcing your brain to rewire, your emotions to stabilize, your focus to refine. It's where growth doesn't just happen, it's where it's forced. No one innovates from a couch. No one leads by blending in. The most disruptive ideas are born from frustration, tension, and the refusal to accept the status quo. Discomfort isn't an obstacle to greatness, it's the gateway. And yet, most people spend their entire lives designing their days around avoiding it. They think discomfort means something is wrong. In reality, it often means something is starting to go right. Something is shifting. Something is waking up inside of them. Leaning into discomfort doesn't mean suffering for the sake of suffering. It means choosing environments that stretch you. It means stepping into roles where you're not the most qualified person in the room. It means doing what you're not ready for before you feel prepared, because the preparation is the doing. It means putting your name on the line before you've earned every credential. Because greatness doesn't come from being overqualified, it comes from being overcommitted. If you only operate inside what you know, you will never discover what you could become. And the tragedy is, many people mistake this kind of discomfort for danger, when really it's data. It's feedback. It's a sign that you're exactly where you need to be. Progress requires friction. Innovation requires failure. Leadership requires resistance. You cannot design the future from within the systems built to maintain the past. You have to challenge them, tear them apart, build better ones with incomplete information, constrained resources, and a clock ticking in your ear. That's uncomfortable. That's how it should be. If the path feels too smooth, too polished, too easy, it probably means you're walking a road someone else already built. And if you're walking someone else's road, then you're chasing, not creating. You're following, not leading. Comfort might feel like clarity, but it's often just autopilot disguised as intention. You have to learn how to weaponize discomfort, how to use it as fuel, as focus, as a tool for precision. When it shows up, and it always does, your instinct must shift from avoidance to attention. What is this discomfort pointing to? What truth is it revealing? What edge is it exposing in you? You don't run from it. You dissect it. You stay with it long enough to extract the insight, and that insight becomes your edge. Most people will never go deep enough into their discomfort to harvest what it has to offer. But those who do, they operate on a level most people can't access because they've earned the calibration. They've reconditioned themselves to seek what others avoid. Leading through discomfort means standing in uncertainty without letting it fracture your clarity. It means absorbing pressure without collapsing under it. It means making decisions without every variable accounted for, trusting your process more than your comfort level. Leadership isn't a title, it's a tolerance. A tolerance for ambiguity, for criticism, for solitude. Leaders don't wait for validation. They don't move only when they feel safe. They move because movement is required. They understand that leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about having the courage to ask the right questions in the dark. And sometimes, to make the first move even when no one else sees what you see, yet innovation lives in environments that don't color. It lives in spaces where failure isn't just accepted but expected. It's not about building things that are guaranteed to work, it's about building things that are worth risking failure to find out. And that's deeply uncomfortable because it requires ego death. It requires being wrong publicly, repeatedly, but each failure is feedback, each misstep is data, each breakdown is an instruction. Comfort teaches nothing. Discomfort teaches everything if you're willing to sit inside it long enough to learn. And when you do, you start to move differently. You stop seeking applause and start seeking edge. You stop asking what's safe and start asking what's possible. You have to become the kind of person who runs toward the challenge, who picks the hard option on purpose, who says yes to things that terrify you because you know they will refine you. The resistance is the training. The stress is the stimulus. There's no version of excellence that doesn't go through the furnace. And most people want to skip that. They want the results without the process. They want the outcome without the risk. But that mindset doesn't scale. It doesn't last. The people who build things that matter, the people who shape the world, they all have one thing in common: an unnatural relationship with discomfort. They don't just tolerate it, they demand it. Because they understand what it produces. Even when you've made progress, especially when you've made progress, you must be vigilant. Comfort will try to creep back in. Success is a sedative if you're not careful. It whispers that you've done enough, that you've earned the right to ease off, to relax, to coast. But the second you start coasting, you start decaying. Progress is a perishable skill. The edge dulls fast if you don't keep sharpening it. You have to build systems that keep you uncomfortable on purpose, that keep you close to the work, that remind you the mission isn't finished, it's just beginning. That makes sure you're never too far from the dirt, the grind, the place where real transformation happens. You don't grow by protecting your pride. You grow by putting yourself in positions where you might fail, where you might be outmatched, where you might get exposed, and doing it anyway. Because that's how you expand. That's how you access parts of yourself that only pressure can reveal. That's how you evolve into someone who doesn't just chase goals, but becomes the kind of person who sets new ones the moment the old ones are reached. You build momentum not by staying in control, but by being willing to lose control in a direction that matters. You don't need guarantees. You need guts. This mindset can't be inherited. It must be forged. It must be chosen every day, when it's raining, when it's late, when it's painful, when no one's watching, when it would be so much easier to pull back, to sit down, to go numb. That's when the choice counts the most. That's when the path splits comfort or capacity, safety or scale, familiar or legendary. You don't get both. You either let discomfort mold you, or you let comfort manage you. One turns you into the kind of person people remember. The other turns you into someone who wonders what could have been if you just leaned into the fire instead of walking away from the heat. Build with urgency and intent. The future rewards execution, not excuses. The difference between those who dream and those who dominate is movement. Relentless, focused, unapologetic movement. The world is filled with people waiting for the perfect moment, the right connection, the final green light that will never come. But the people who change the game don't wait, they move. They take action while others hesitate. They start building when others are still talking. They don't need a guarantee because they understand that building is the guarantee. They move with urgency because they know windows of opportunity don't stay open forever. Markets shift. Technology advances, timing changes. If you're not building, your bleeding time. Urgency doesn't mean panic. It doesn't mean recklessness. It means you recognize the clock is ticking and you act accordingly. It means you stop overthinking, overplanning, overtalking. You shift into output mode. You eliminate friction between decision and action. You move from intention to impact. Most people wait until they feel ready, until everything feels aligned, until they're sure the result is guaranteed. But if you need certainty to move, you'll always be behind. Urgency is a mindset that says progress is more important than perfection, that every step forward, even if messy, builds momentum, that waiting for ideal conditions is just a sophisticated form of procrastination dressed up as strategy. Execution separates the real from the theoretical. Ideas are easy, concepts are everywhere, but execution is rare. It requires discipline, clarity, energy, and courage. It demands sacrifice. It forces you to strip away distractions and focus on the work in front of you. The future isn't waiting to see who has the best ideas, it's watching to see who dares to build first. Speed matters, not in a chaotic, random way, but in a way that prioritizes consistent action over endless deliberation. The people who get ahead don't always have the most genius ideas. They're just the ones who act on their ideas before the rest of the world understands them. They build when others analyze. They ship when others polish. Intent is what turns motion into meaning. Anyone can move fast, but without intent, speed becomes noise. Without intent, action becomes activity, not achievement. Building with intent means every step has direction. Every project ties back to a larger mission. Every decision is filtered through a lens of purpose. You don't build just to keep busy. You build to solve. You build to shift. You build to create something that didn't exist before. Intent demands you get clear on your why, and once you have it, you use it like a compass. It keeps you grounded when pressure mounts. It keeps you aligned when distractions scream for your attention. Intent is what turns urgency from chaos into power. When you combine urgency and intent, you become dangerous. You become the kind of person who doesn't just move, you move with impact. You don't just take action, you take the right action. You stop playing small because you realize how much time you've already wasted playing it safe. You stop delaying because you understand the opportunity cost of inaction. You start looking at every hour, every meeting, every task through the filter of outcome. Does this build or does this distract? Does this move me forward or does it keep me spinning? Does this align with the future I'm building, or is it just noise pretending to be necessity? The people who change industries, change lives, change the direction of the world. They don't have more time than anyone else. They just treat their time differently. They audit it ruthlessly. They protect it like it's their most valuable asset, because it is. They say no to what doesn't align. They cut fast. They focus hard. They are obsessed with traction, with forward motion, with doing the hard things now so they can do the impossible things later. Their urgency isn't loud, it's embedded. You see it in how they show up, in how they prepare, in how they execute when no one's watching, in how they don't talk about goals. They work them into reality before others have finished. Brainstorming excuses are the currency of the uncommitted. The future doesn't care about how valid your reasons are for not building. It doesn't reward explanations. It rewards execution. The scoreboard doesn't care about your story, it tracks outcomes. And the longer you spend explaining why you haven't started, the more you fall behind someone who decided to start without the perfect plan. The people you admire didn't wait to become the expert. They became experts by getting into the arena and learning through contact. Through trial, through correction, through iteration, every excuse you accept becomes a chain around your progress. Every time you let discomfort win, you lose velocity, and velocity matters more than anyone wants to admit. Building with urgency doesn't mean burning out. It means burning brighter. It means cutting what doesn't matter so you can go deeper into what does. It means having clarity of mission and the courage to move on it before the crowd gives you permission. It means not needing motivation because you've built systems that run on discipline. It means waking up with the mindset that you don't have time to waste, not because you're scared, but because you're focused. It means trading convenience for compound returns, trading cheap praise for long-term legacy, trading easy now for freedom later. The future will not be shaped by those who wait. It will not be built by those who overthink. It will be shaped by those who wake up every day and ask what they can build right now with what they already have. Who don't ask for perfect conditions, who don't complain about resources, who leverage what's in front of them and keep pushing. Who take small, precise, aggressive steps every day in the direction of something bigger than themselves. Who understand that ideas without execution are hallucinations and plans without momentum are dead weight. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You need more accountability. You need more speed in the direction that matters. You need to stop treating your potential like a theory and start turning it into a result. Urgency isn't something you stumble into. It's something you engineer. It's a byproduct of intention, of realizing that if you don't build, someone else will. If you don't act, someone else will. If you don't ship, someone else will. And when the future arrives, it won't ask how many plans you had. It will ask what you did. It will ask what you built. It will ask what problem you solved, what risk you took, what contribution you made while others waited. There's no award for almost, no medal for maybe. You either build or you don't. You either execute or you excuse. You either move or you stay stuck. The future isn't neutral. It leans toward the relentless, the ones who don't flinch, the ones who adapt without complaint, the ones who choose motion over perfection, results over rationalizations, outcomes over optics, the ones who go to work while others talk, the ones who don't need external hype because their inner engine is already running hot, the ones who keep going, especially when the path is unclear, because they know that clarity often comes after the commitment. Build with urgency, move like it matters, cut the noise, own the moment, make the decision, take the risk, launch the thing, execute the vision. The future is watching, and it only waits for those already in motion.